A maximum penalty of life imprisonment for those involved in international drug trafficking, being in possession of and consumption of dangerous or illicit drugs. This penalty, among others, is effective following the passage of the Controlled Substance Bill 2021 in Parliament yesterday by an overwhelming majority of 71 votes.
Mr. Speaker, the Controlled Substance Bill has a unique nature as it is both a regulatory and criminal law. Mr. Speaker, the regulatory controls under the Controlled Substance Bill are namely the creation of Schedules 1 to 4. The Controlled Substance Bill creates a classification system for the categories of illicit substances, plants and drugs.
The National Narcotics Control Board given more powers in this act.
This power is exercised upon the advice of the Technical Advisory Panel, which is a panel of technical experts established under the bill to provide technical advice to the board.
Licensing provisions under this act is set out for regulatory purposes.
Mr. Speaker, these licenses were created to give the National Narcotics Bureau adequate ability to control the use of illicit and abuse of illicit drugs and precursors.
When presenting the bill, Brian Kramer, Minister for Justice, said the bill has gone through numerous reviews and consultations since 2019 and it is consistent with international standards.
This Controlled Substance Bill is consistent with international standards in criminalizing transnational offenders such as drug trafficking. The penalties under this bill would now qualify the drug-related offences as predicate crimes to money laundering, hence allowing law enforcement authorities with the option of pursuing proceeds of crime as they are generated from or used in these crimes.
Dr. Alan Marat, speaking for the opposition, said they fully support the bill, noting that amendments will continue, adding that there should be no parole for offenders.
The opposition believe that it is time that this kind of legislation is brought to Parliament for approval, because a lot of people have been talking about it, about commercializing some of these drugs. And we certainly see that it needs to be properly regulated, the use of illicit drugs, and that parole should never be considered. Let him rot in prison.
Northern Province Governor Gary Jufa also pointed out matters on the penalties.
I note in here it says in some of the penalty clauses, fines not exceeding. It's a bit of confusion here. I would say there should be minimum fines imposed. And I feel that some of the penalties here are far too lenient. Also, can we look at the Bail Act in regards to these laws?
Further raising queries on enforcement agencies and mechanisms.
I'm also curious about the mechanics of how these laws are going to be enforced, because it makes grave mention of the National Narcotics Bureau here, which, as I understand, was established for the purposes of awareness of the dangers of illicit substances. But the enforcing mechanisms are held with customs, police, and the Defence Force.
Kilawani National, EMTV News.